or they had no idea about. You wouldn't know this until when it comes to the time of delivery. This is not political, this is not campaign. We were promised better security, better economy, and a fight to corruption, none of which we saw. We thought, okay, look, maybe a new government will do it. And then they say, okay, the last thing is that we now promise you credible elections. It was going to be Buhari's saving grace, even at the United Nations General Assembly. That was the only thing he could say after failing in all the promises. Now I'm glad that a gentleman this morning presented incontrovertible evidence to really form the character of this government. They have no idea of the promises they are making. When INEC chairman in November was speaking about how credible and how BVAS was going to work, they didn't even possibly know what BVAS was. They didn't know. This is their character. They make promises about what they have no idea about. Were they in a hurry to spend the money? Was it just about issuing contracts? Who was behind the contracts? Who supplied it? How much did they make? Who and who did they share with? More questions I can raise, but this is not the time for it. We want a credible elections in Nigeria. I'm only trying to tell you the character of this government, whom our fate is in their hands today. But a more specific answer to you, Sean, is that the Constitution provides a range. If I can remember correctly, it's 90 days, not more than 90 days, not less than 30 days to the swearing in of the new administration. This is instructive to us because it has taken cognizance of the fact that there can be bad elections, there can be cancellations, and then you repeat. What we're asking for is not too much, it's practical, it's logical, it's within the law. Because I just told you, they have 60 clear days. Go and buy beavers wherever it is. Make sure it works. Make sure it works. Not what Governor Okowa has so elaborately said to you. Right now, it's like a small group of people are sitting somewhere and dictating the fate of this country. You will not have IREF, will not work. We will give you the results to go, amend the results, go to the collation center. When the collation center chairman is ready to review, we give him the IREF figures which we have tallied with the fake results given. This is it. Only early this month, there was natural disaster. There was earthquake in Turkey. The president has sworn to rebuild it. Last year there was earthquake in South Africa. They are rebuilding. These are natural disasters. Human disasters are when you have one individual destroying the future of hundreds of millions. They are worse than tornadoes, most powerful tornadoes. They are worse than earthquakes. 60,000 people died in Turkey. Remember, 800,000 people were killed in Rwanda. One individual brought Somalia to its knees. One individual brought Iraq, an ancient civilization, to its knees. One individual brought Libya to a sorry state. We have individuals who have amassed wealth and think they can, in the Eagle Square, disgrace citizen number 1, citizen number 2, citizen number 3, because they have millions of dollars to spend on state governors. And they will come out, hold INEC, control INEC, control the security, control the judiciary. That is why they are telling you go to court. People are afraid to mention courts in civilized societies. The moment you mention court, he will say, okay, what do you want? That is the truth of the matter. We are heading, like I told you, when everything is at stake, and right now everything is at stake. My country is at stake. So I'm ready to deploy everything I can within the Constitution, not to let this happen.
Okay, you can stay there.
My name is Obina Kalazo. I speak for the Concerned Citizen Society. Yes, please. Now, sir, coming here, there was a young man we saw carrying a placard naked. He was just wearing a trouser saying his future has been sold by INEC. And I also speak for the women in the marketplace, traders and all that. They trooped out from morning on Saturday to late in the evening. I want you to speak to them, Nigerians that are watching, giving them encouragement how to come out again, because our agreement is we are not accepting this. How can they be trusted? How can they give their trust again to INEC after now? So I want you to talk to them and tell them there is hope somewhere. Thank you.
Which hope?
First, we want to ensure that the process is followed according to the rules of this country. The Electoral Act is very clear. The INEC guidelines are very clear. The Constitution of this country is very clear. It is for us to defend the rights of the people. We are not asking for anything unusual. We are asking for the right thing. Nigerians must collectively stand up for their rights. We're here to continue to talk to the conscience of our people, particularly the INEC chairman and those who work with him. And we'll continue to emphasize this and to re-emphasize it. He has a moral obligation to save this nation by doing what is right. That was what he was appointed to do, and that is what he ought to do. Any other thing is wrong, and he cannot continue to play with the future of our children. He cannot continue to play with the future of our mothers. And we call upon him to do what is right. I have said earlier, if the law was forced on him, it's different. He fought for the law along with the civil society organization, for which we are truly very grateful to our civil society members across this nation. They fought for this, and he was with them all through on this. Correct. Why would you go through a fight? And we're all excited. Internationally, the global community was excited that this time we're going to have it right. He traveled overseas, even to Chatham House, to the United States, to speak about a credible election premised on the law that have been put forth. The same man who fought for the law is going against it. We are speaking out to the Nigerian people. We're speaking to all. They want to speak to the conscience of the INEC chairman. And I hope he hears us. Because dignity is important. No matter how much money you have, no matter what you think you are, until you are a man of integrity, having sworn to an oath, he's just but nothing.
Thank you.
So I just hope that he will save his name. It's already down, but he still has an opportunity to save that name by doing the right thing. And it's very, very clear. In the first instance, I talked about that section of the Electoral Act, and the Electoral Act was all encompassing. Oath of neutrality. All staff, electoral officers, presiding officers, and returning officers And he is the chief return officer, so he's one of those persons. And security officers taking part in the conduct of an election shall affirm or swear to an oath of loyalty and neutrality, as in the second schedule. He knows what is right. He has to save Nigeria. It is only when he does what is right that we can be sure that we truly have a nation of our own. It's only when he does what is right that the children of this country, the youth of this country, will realize that there is still hope and that there's a nation, Nigeria, that they can call their own. We appeal to him that he should not dash the hopes of millions of youths in this country, because he will be bringing a curse on himself and his generation. And I don't believe that he ought to do that. He's a man who fought for what was right along with others. There is nothing, no amount of pressure for anybody, no amount of inducement for anybody should cause him to do what is wrong. There is a law very clearly stated in section 64(4) AB. And going through that, even to that section 64, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's very, very clear. He knows what is, I guess he knows what is in the law. He also drew the guidelines in section 38. He just has to keep to what is right. He has to save this nation by causing a cancellation and putting a stop to the further collation that is going on. That is the only way we can truly secure the future of this nation. And as for Nigerians who are waiting, I believe that Nigerians know what is right to be done. We cannot sit and watch and allow one man or a team of men to destroy the future of this nation.
Real peace is not the absence of violence, it is the presence of justice. We cannot continue to make the job of those destroying Nigeria easy. Each time we come out to tell Nigerians, calm down, let it pass, the more we tell Nigerians to be peaceful, the more the bad elements perfect their instruments and systems of corruption, of constitutional and legal abuses. For how long are we going to continue to do that? In the most advanced democracies, you have human beings chaining themselves to highways because toxic materials are being transported through their territories. This is legal. This is constitutional. This is not violence. Only 2 months ago in Germany, you saw people, environmentalists protesting against coal mines, have stayed there in excess of 6 months until the court ruled against them. The police moved in to remove them from occupying that place. And this is legal. For how long are we going to tell Nigerians continue to sit down and be cheated? You are being cheated, allow yourselves to be cheated because you're Nigerians. It doesn't make sense. And you, the bad elements, continue to do because Nigerians are going to be patient. Governments have fallen in Africa because of the price of bread went up. The entire Arab world, 11, 12 years ago, went up in crisis because a young man burned himself in broad daylight. Anybody waiting to hear call to arms from ourselves will never hear it. We're peaceful people. He will never hear. Anybody who wishes to change what we are saying, what I am saying, is welcome to try it. I will never call for violence. I will continue to say that democracy belongs to the people who can practice it. Good governance belongs to the people who can demand it. Dividends of democracy belong to those who can take it. It is left for Nigerians to do these things I mentioned. There's nothing unconstitutional, nothing illegal about the gentleman you mentioned on the street, and millions joining him. After all, what is being done about the illegality that we spoke about? Right now, to the best that I know, let me tell you that there is 178,606 illegalities committed on 25th February 2023. All the polling units that did not upload to IREF is a constitution, it is a legal breach. It's a breach of the Electoral Act. Then there is 8,000 plus criminal acts. Any polling ward or correction officer that violated sections 64, 4, and 5, because it states clearly, he or she shall only enter after having verified from the beavers directly transmitted. These are constitutional breaches. These are legal breaches. This is what Nigerians should be after, not about Nigerians demanding their rights. It is not violence if Nigerians serve notice, come out peacefully. It is not violence. It is not any break. You cannot tell Nigerians to sit down and watch everything go down the drain. This country is too beautiful, is too blessed. I'm sure most of us have lived in other countries and come back to Nigeria because Nigeria is too good. And that is why I said, when all is at stake, as we have now, people like me are ready to deploy all constitutional means to see that we take back our country. I like what Governor Okowa said. The gentleman, Mahmoud Yakubu, he is an exalted common civil servant. And this is a technical description I'm giving with due respect. He has no powers to break law. He has no powers to make laws. What INEC chairman has been doing, he has been making laws by deciding to continue with legal breaches. I repeat, what INEC has said is that, yes, we've heard you. The laws have been broken. Please resume your seat. Like they said to Ihedioha. Resume your seat, we've heard you. We are going to continue to break this law until we finish breaking the law and announce a government based on illegality. Then we'll come back to you. And your question, you're asking me that Nigerians should not dress with, we should not come out without a t-shirt? Or market women should not? And we should tell them not to? Hell no.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to take about 2 more questions. Okay, Amaka, we're on Kyrian now from Alliance Television.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, my colleagues. My name is Amaka Ude Walker. I report for Rise News. I want to actually appreciate you, gentlemen, for the languages you've used this afternoon, really trying to calm the tension which is palpable all across the country. But my question is directly to you this afternoon. I have just returned from the APC where they had a presser there, the spokespersons had a presser, and Festus Keyamo in particular says, what your parties are demanding for are alien to the law, and if it goes ahead, that if INEC goes ahead with cancellation like you are demanding, it will result to abortion of democratic practices. I am giving you their exact words this afternoon, and of course we even heard someone said it's even treasonous if the INEC chairman attempts to do that. And this is 2 opposing views. You have yours and they have theirs. And it's up to the INEC chairman, who we're waiting for to respond and see which way forward. But my question to you this afternoon is If he refuses your demand, which is cancellation number one, aside from his resignation, which you have called for, what next for your parties? That is my question. Thank you.
I listened carefully to the names you mentioned. If Tinubu speaks, if Shetima speaks, we'll respond to them. Governor Okowa and my humble self will never join those people. Then your second question as to what next, I relate what you asked to what the gentleman asked and my long, laborious answers. Nigeria belongs to who? To Nigerians. What did I say about democracy? It belongs to those who can practice it.
That is true.
Okay, African report, Eniola Akiko too.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, gentlemen. You've asked for the cancellation of the result. I want to find out from you, will you be approaching the court to enforce this, or will you be applying for maybe an ex parte order, an interim injunction, or anything like that? Thank you very much.
We have asked for a cancellation of the result because that actually will be the saving grace at this moment for Yakubu Mahmood, who is the chairman of INEC. And we believe that in right conscience, he should do what is right. And we're hoping that in the position that he occupies, and with what efforts he had put in the past, and what he had told Nigerians, what he had told the world over, that he was going to do, he should only do what is right. We are hoping that he will do what is right. And that actually is the right course to do. But if he fails to do that, our options are numerous. We don't have to come to you on that at the moment. We'll let you know as we progress.
You need to understand that the process is still on. Where's the gentleman who asked the question?
I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were making noise. You need to understand, this process is still on. It becomes legal only after the declaration. And that's why I told you, if INEC chairman said he will review after declaring when it's a joke, the moment he declares, only the courts of law can do anything about the election. Remember, we're both in the Senate. We're always advised by legal experts. What they are saying is a joke. He probably doesn't know what he's saying. Just like not knowing, never mind that he's a professor. I respect professors. I belong to the ivory tower. Anybody who could make the kind of promises that Dino Melaya played yesterday, only for us to come on Saturday morning and you cannot, then you have no idea what you're saying. He probably has no idea what he's saying that he will review after declaring. He has no idea what he's saying, albeit being a professor. Then look, wait. The process is still on. It is still administrative. It's still within the commission. If I were to use an example, we rented this facility for the purpose of this press conference. And if you read the paperwork, it should be provided with electricity so that we'll have light and air conditioning. If you come in here and there is no electricity, it is within the power of the management of this hotel to cancel this room, that is the presidential election, cancel it and give you Lagos or showroom that has electricity. Yes, sir. We have come to Plateau Room, that is the 25th Saturday 25th February elections, and there was no power. There was no beavers, there was no IREF. So there was no power in this room. It behoves on the management of Hilton to cancel this room. It behoves on INEC to cancel that election. Give us Lagos or showroom that has power, light, air conditioning, and audio. That is, and it is administrative. It becomes legal after that. I just told you that the Constitution, the law, is conscious of these kind of things. That's why we give 60 days. They have 60 days to go wherever and find BUS and make sure it works. We hold these elections again, make sure that all over the country, the moment they finish elections, they snap as provided by the law. Instantly they are transmit directly. When they go to the registration areas, which are ward collation units, do not make any entry until you verify from IREF. What happened on Saturday was not an election, my good friend. What happened on Saturday was an army of fraudsters, electoral fraudsters, that did their job. Nigerians, through us, are coming out to say that this will not stand. The first thing we've said is that cancel it. And cancel shall it be. They are taking calculated risks with the lives of 213 million. When Rwanda went up in flames, they were playing. They didn't think it would happen. Tunisia, when the gentleman set himself on fire and the Arab Spring began, the Egyptian dictator had been in power for 30 years. Nobody could try him. They thought it was a joke. In 1997, Suharto, who had perfected the art of suppression, we have seen dictators all over the world. I like what Governor Okowa said. He's nothing. But at the moment, that nothing is about to bring something disastrous to Nigeria. I have elevated him to a glorified common public servant in whose hands Nigeria's fate is in it. He is not Mahmoud Jega. Nobody is going to be Orubebe there. And he should change his attitude, change his thinking, and come back into line and do what is needful. What I'm saying in summary, it is legal, it is constitutional, and it has been provided for. The cancellation that we have called for is not unforeseen, it is very normal. Cancellation is very normal, it is within the law. Has even been provided for 25th February 2023 presidential elections have been called upon by all the people we have listed, all the organizations we have listed, international, African, national. Do not, for God's sake, ignore this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would invite you once again because there is a breaking news and we need to respond to it quickly. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to come back to the microphone because at the moment the coalition has resumed at the ICC. That's perhaps the INEC chairman says he will continue with the process. And also because you have raised this issue, because you have asked him and you said you hope that he listens, there is a press statement coming from the INEC chairman's office by his press secretary who says that asking him to step aside, that is impossible, and that there is no sense in asking him to step down. And aside that, he also says that any other thing that needs to be done has to be done along the line of the Constitution, and you should wait for the process to be concluded. Finally, there was a point that was being raised as to the peace of the country, and perhaps what you are asking for is going to raise violence and disturb the peace of the country. I'd like your reaction to that.
I did not ask for Mahmoud Yakubu to step down, neither did our party. We are specific and very, very categorical on cancellation of elections. Whoever, in fact, we need Mahmoud Yakubu there to do the job. And afterwards, he can continue to serve as INEC chairman. The law can even be amended for him to be reappointed. Now, this thing about peace and security of Nigeria, I told you, whoever is trying to twist our language will fail. We have been calling for peace right from our campaign days. And we shall continue to call for peace, and we shall continue to call on Nigerians to protect their democratic rights. Nobody here called for anything, uprising, violence, nobody did. And whoever is trying to say that those people are the ones calling for the violence, it doesn't make sense to me. Just to tell you again, we are not about Mahmoud Yakubu stepping aside. We don't need his job. So I don't know, do you have anybody who wants a job?
Actually, we have not called, we have only called on him, Mahmoud, chairman of INEC, to please obey the very law that he fought for, along with Nigerians, particularly civil society organizations. He spoke to us on this severally. He fought for it alongside other Nigerians. We're only asking him to follow the process. There's an electoral act, and he was excited and spoke to the world and spoke to Nigerians concerning it. He promised us that the beavers will be used and that there will be transmission of resource in accordance with the Electoral Act 2022. He should do what is right and not destroy this nation. He should do what is right and give hope to our youths and give hope to all Nigerians. What is right is what is right. But apparently he appears to want to toe the line of impunity. We're only just recalling his mind to what is in the Electoral Act, the law of the land, and that it ought to be obeyed. But he's decided not to obey the law, and that is not right. That is impunity. He should do what is right.
What Governor Okowa just concluded, that is insecurity, that is violence, that is crisis. When you are consistently violating the law, resting on the law and the instruments of government to continue to violate the law, that is what I call violence. That is violence. INEC is meting out violence on the Nigerian nation. That is violence, not us trying to defend, trying to call him to do the right thing. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we have spent enough time here and we've covered all the grants. So thank you so much, Governor Okowa. Thank you, Dr. Baba Ahmed, for all the useful information we need to know. So, in summary, nobody is calling for violence. It is INEC that is visiting violence on us, the rest of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good point.
Thank you. Thank you.